So it would seem, even though it hasn't actually... Oh, it has. And why is it not... Okay, that's why I didn't notice it. Usually new things on the news terminal come up below. This didn't. Star Days has started, which basically means it's literally at the top of that. Why didn't I notice that earlier? Oh well. For the next 2 weeks, if you go to Fortuna, it is located on Venus, and it's actually currently called Star Days. Head up there, we're above Frost's head, and visit... Ooh, I want to say Ticker, but I can never remember this person's name. Also, should point out, if you really wanted, you can also just come here, and this will actually take you all the way up. Anyway, it's all about Ticker, and what Ticker is selling. First off will be the terminal behind him. You can actually buy that terminal and place it on your landing craft, or in your clan's dojo if you want to donate it, but it's the offerings he has. Star Days offerings. He will be selling the Eros Wings Ephemera, kind of as always. Can be worn with other wings, but not other wing ephemeras. Just to be clear, there is the cherub colour palette, and to be fair, was kind of expecting the normal one to come back. I will check on that in a moment. There is the Ticker Floof, as always. Maybe I might pick one of those up one day, but it needs familiar debt bonds, and those aren't so easy to get hold of. There is the terminal. Hiding the terminal can be hugely problematic though, which can be kind of fun, especially when you place it inside of your arsenal behind your frame. And it looks like you have that wings thing as an ephemera, when in fact you don't, it's a terminal behind it. The thing that kind of annoys me about that is it used to be behind it, but I think I moved it. Or it has kind of manually been moved, and well, it's bugged me ever since. But luckily, now they have actually added this in. If we go into quickly decorate it and we just grab a hold of it and kind of throw it over there, you can now also resize it, which means smaller wings, bigger wings, smaller and bigger. The wings are actually changing size as well, which is great. That is also only 10 familial bonds. At least I'm assuming that's 10, because they're the only things that use them. Well, yeah, it's 10. Because, wow, okay. I'm just now realizing the neon Eros wings that you can place on your landing craft cost less than the colour palette. Cost the same as the floof. There is, for the first time, actually turning up the left hand of Eos. This is an awkward one. And the right Eos. Yeah. It's basically exactly the same one, but it goes to the other side, because that would be the right hand, this would be the left hand. That's basically it. You can do the left hand one each, and if you get it in the right position, it can form the heart, but it basically does what it really does. But this is a two-person glyph, so to actually pull this maneuver off, you do actually need a second person, so you have to have the right, they have the left, or you have the left and they have the right. It's a 2-10 emote. Ticker has finally stopped talking. There is a few different glyphs. I'm not going through every single one of them. These use shelter debt bonds, so much easier to get a hold of, as kind of does, well no, it's actually the training bond, but never mind, the Eros Arrow Skin. This is a skin that can go on any arrow for any bow, not crossbow, and yeah, I'm glad they made the change of this years ago to make it a skin rather than an item in your gear you had to use. Don't like the fact that it took off the many owned and made it one per account, so you literally cannot even buy it once you have one. But you can see the heart sticking out the bottom of the quiver there. We'll do that for all bows. This does happen to be one of the... He's talking again. Anyway, This does happen to be one of the only ways to get hold of the Snipertron blueprint. The Snipertron was the original sniper rifle. The original, the first, the only one at the time it came out that the Snipertron actually existed. It was the one and only. Then it got retired. You cannot get the blueprint for this any other way than to actually get it from special events. There is the Ignis Wraith blueprint if you want to pick it up here. This is much easier than buying it from Barrow. Kind of a little bit cheaper because the advanced ones actually much easier to get a hold of than the familial ones. But never under any circumstances buy this for platinum. Ever. I say that every time this comes around because it was an issue a few years ago. No. Don't ever do that. But you can always go to the trading channel down here and possibly get it for free because this blueprint is actually tradable, even though it doesn't come up here saying it is tradable. That one had me a little bit worried. There is the Celtra Solstice skin. Not really sure why the Solstice skins are even in here, but they do look nice. The Umbra... I was going to call it the Umbra Scanner. The Umbra Nakana, that has that weird name that I butcher every time, Solstice skin. There is the Kuva Solstice cloak. Not really sure why the Solstice stuff is in here. The Frostfall Ephemera. Glad to see that actually return. Especially if you can't get Freezing Step. This is a nice way to actually get that, and I had that on Frost for a while. Kind of took it off because he looked slightly better without it. And a few in-action glyphs. And these are the in-action glyphs that, well, they're supposed to be somewhere else. There is new glyphs. That would be Gaia's glyph that, to be fair, I kind of wish you could have that as a skin. So instead of it being a ball, it's a rolling round heart. The...
Everybody's heard.
Oh, I really wanted to say Fat Kavat because it rhymes, Fat Kavat. And there is actually things in the marketplace. I just noticed that when I turned around. So in here, yes, the Eros Arrow ornament. It's a heart that gives off hearts. There are glyphs. There are always glyphs. Sometimes new ones, sometimes returning ones. Prime example of returning ones, that would be Ivora, Ember. Yeah, I bought those three. Didn't bother with these ones, and to be fair, do regret it because the maggots don't look too bad like that because it kind of forms a heart because this whole thing is basically about Valentine's Day. Really? Popular. There it is. The Valentine's colour palette. One credit, it's worth picking this up if you want to use any reds, pinks, very faint pinks. As you can see, the white is pink, but a very, very pale pink, all the way down to very dark reds. This is a good colour palette for reds and pinks. Damn good colour palette for reds and pink. I was looking for the timer, but the timer's at the bottom. 13 days, 22 hours, and basically on February the 15th at 11 AM ET, because it went live at 11 AM ET on the 1st of February, so really it's almost 15 days, but it's 14 days. Warframe math. He will leave, so if you want any of these, you basically have until then to get in. As for all the other things that were supposed to come in an update on the 1st, we're still waiting. That stuff is yet to come. They will release information about it shortly. Hopefully. I was really expecting it sooner rather than later, but they kind of have had 3 days, working days, since the dev stream to actually update on that. Last time they said that in the dev stream, the next day they released all the information that everybody was wondering about. This time around, complete silence. But with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.